Peace to you. I hope this finds you well. I actually wasn't planning on making a video right now. I'm not really awake, and I've been reading, and I was reading in chapter 40. The Forgiver is what it's called. Gosh, I have morning face and everything. I'm sorry, but I have to share this now. The end times are upon us. I don't mean to rattle you, but the end times are upon us. And there is something that needs to be said, because we can save a lot of people from suffering. I know this sounds crazy, and as I said, I'm half asleep, but this, as I was reading verse 40, chapter 40, the Forgiver, I was inspired by the fact of the nearness of Judgment Day. I mean, we've been told it's coming, but there's a nearness to it. And something needs to happen. And what needs to happen is, before that is, this needs to be established. I don't want to hear anything about anything else. This, before Judgment Day is upon us, and this needs to be established. This is what I'm telling you. And I feel all amped up. But the reason I'm making this video is when I turned the page, I was reading chapter 40, and I was having strange kind of feelings about the whole idea. Nervous and scared, but not really scared, and feeling a little old to have to go through it. But at any age, going through the end of time is going to be a challenge. I believe I've been given the message to establish the Quran where it needs to be. I know it sounds crazy, and the reason I'm all amped up, and the reason that I have this book, chapter 41, verses perfectly explained. This is what got me going. Verse 1. This is a revelation from the most compassionate, most merciful. It is a book whose verses are perfectly explained, a Quran in Arabic for people who know. Now you might say, well, that guy doesn't know Arabic, so obviously it's not talking about him. But it was because I heard it in Arabic that called me to it. And look, I don't know. You open your Quran. You read it for yourself. I've been reading. I'm not finished yet. I listen all the time. I read. It's the book. This is a revelation from the most compassionate, most merciful. It is a book whose verses are perfectly explained. A Quran in Arabic for people who know. You can interpret that the way you want. I interpreted it the way I experienced it. Turn to the book. Focus on the book. The end times are upon us. I may be thoroughly embarrassed once I hit send and this goes out into the world, but I just had to share it with you. I wish you peace. Respect one another. Treat each other well. And do good works. Peace to you. I hope this finds you well. I'm sorry, I was just listening to a brother interact with a fellow. What this fellow was saying was, he brought up this particular verse in the Quran, and he says, and if you can prove to me where that exists in the Old Testament, in the Gospel, he said, then I will take my Shahada right now. That's what I heard him say. And then he gave him this verse. This would be the heights. That would be chapter 7 in the Quran, and 157. 7157. They are the ones who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, whose description they find in their Torah and the Gospel. He commands them to do good and forbids them from evil, permits for them what is lawful and forbids to them what is impure, and relieves them from their burdens and the shackles that bound them. Only those who believe in him, honor him, and support him, and follow the light sent down to him will be successful. The contention that this young fellow he sounded young, was posing to the host was this idea of when he read, the ones who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, whose description they find in their Torah and the Gospel. And when this guy calling in, this guest, said, where is it in the Gospel and the Torah? And the Muslim brother said, well, you don't have those anymore. And this guy said, well, what are you talking about? You guys always say that. Now, so because I'm curious and because I feel as though I'm being led, I shut that off, put on my headphones, listened to the Quran, and I read this. Now, this idea of the unlettered prophet, it was, from what I understand, initially I was told that it meant that Muhammad could neither read nor write. But then it was explained to me that perhaps unlettered means he didn't read their books, you know, the Old Testament, the Torah, the Gospel. He didn't read it. So if you look at unlettered in that capacity, and by the way, someone pointed out that the prophet, prior to the Quran being revealed to him, was a successful merchant or something to that effect. And to call him out and to refer to him as unlettered, I can't read or write, I think it was done to show like a great miracle. He could neither read nor write, but that this was delivered to him. And so I think it was done for that reason. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody. We're all on this journey together. It's about learning. It's about encouraging each other as best we can. Okay? So, the ones who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, whose description they find in the Torah and the Gospel. Perhaps, if that term unlettered means he didn't read your Gospel and your Torah, the description is his description of the events in their books, not a description of him. I know that just sounded rather accusatory, but as they were talking about it, I asked to be invited up. I wasn't allowed, so I came to you with this. But do you understand what I mean? If unlettered means that Muhammad was not aware, was not familiar with the writings of the Torah, was not familiar with the writings of the Gospel, so he's unlettered in that regard. You know what I mean? And then whose description they find, whose description they find in their Torah and the Gospel. I think the young Muslim brother and anyone who's averting to answer this question, I think, I'm just being led like you. I think perhaps the way to do it is to realize that it's not about the individual being described in their Torah and the Gospel. It's his descriptions of the stories that he is previously unlettered or unread, unfamiliar with. You know what I mean? Anyway, peace. Do good.